This is the Owl of Wisdom. Like and subscribe for 10 years of good luck. If you don't, it won't be pretty. You are given unlimited money to produce a TV series adaptation of any movie saga video game book. Which one would you choose, and what would be your production decisions? A Sims Foundation series. Mass Effect, original trilogy, but which ending to choose? Nice try. Hollywood produces suffering writer's block. Mistborn. Fix the Percy Jackson and at least get Annabeth a blonde wig / grey contacts and actually follow the storyline so Rick Riordan can be less disappointed. Dragonlance Chronicles. Be as faithful as possible, even if I have to genetically engineer eel dragons. The BioShock series. The visuals to the period, clothing. It would be so great to see that. 100 bullets, I'd love to see that. And an old 2000 story called Buttonman. DiCaprio was attached to it once upon a time but nothing ever happened with it. Edit, I'd employ someone who knew what the fuck they were doing, maybe Fincher or Tarantino. The Star Wars movie, but it takes place in the break room for the stormtroopers and they talk about things they saw that day, like for example, that Darth Vader killed another Imperial general, or that the Death Star blowing up was her inside job. World War Z made into the HBO Band of Brothers-esque show it should have been. A Warhammer 40k TV series. Basically kick-ass action mixed with grimdark themes. Lies of Loclamora series, so good. Berserk. Nothing left out, zero cut content. Every single dialogue would be the same as the manga. Fuck Berserk 2016 and 2017. I would do the whole Ranger's Apprentice series. That series was fire. Cherub book series, one series per book, possibly, but I'd just make sure the books were done justice. A film wouldn't be long enough. Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. I hope it gets picked up. I would absolutely love to do a stop motion version of the Red Wall book series, including all of the weird recipe parts, chef's table style but clay. Also I really want to make a documentary about my old neighbor Ed Gingerich, the first Amish man convicted of homicide. David Eddings Belgariad. There would have to be some work on the character voices, because they tend to sound the same after a while, especially when they're quipping. I might mix in Belgarath the Sorcerer and Polgara the Sorceress. I would definitely avoid any significant use of the Mallorean, since it is a retread of the original series, and has a very unsatisfying conclusion, though I might still take bits and pieces from here and there. I figure 5 to 6 seasons would do nicely. Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Ridders of Pern. Do it on HBO, and take a full season for each book and what I consider the main plotline. Dragonflight, Dragon Quest, the White Dragon, all the Weirs of Pern, the Skies of Pern. Then do spin-off seasons for other books in the series, especially the Master Hipper of Pern and Dragon Song / Dragon Singer / Dragondrums trilogy. This series is made for HBO. Dragons, sex, duels to the death, a desperate fight against a terrifying, mindless foe, discovering ancient secrets, at least 4 major uses of time travel, intrigue, and drama, and a ton of great and interesting characters. Absolutely without a doubt the Dresden Files. Forget the god-awful TV series that only had a passing similarity to the books. Each movie covering one book. Stay true to the source material. Stick to the idea that Harry Dresden is basically Peter Parker if he was Doctor Strange instead of Spider-Man. Play up the spell-slinging superhero detective angle because of how big superhero movies are right now. I have no idea who I would cast for the roles though. Seriously, the one thing I want to see in my lifetime is a good Dresden Files movie. The whole Terry Pratchett Witches series. A good Eragon reboot that stays true to the books. The Dark Tower series. Season 7 to 8 of Goatee, I'd make it at least 2 seasons longer with more character development and closure. Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings, Terry Pratchett's Discworld, Garth Nix's Old Kingdom series. All these book series treated with the proper respect would make amazing TV shows. The Bible. I know the Bible has already been adapted to movies and TV a large number of times, but I would go all the way. Not just pick and choose a few chapters to adapt, but adapt the whole thing, with nothing left out. All the books, not just the ones only Catholics, Protestants and Orthodox people can agree are canon, but all the books any of them considers canon. I would include everything, all the gore, the nudity, the violence, the massacres and the genocides and the sex scenes. Nothing censored, everything shown. It would of course require a disclaimer about it not being suitable for children or those faint of heart. Some passages about who begets whom would be quite boring, but the scenes of bloody mayhem would make up for it. When the whole show is done after 50 books, I would add some extra season worth of Apocrypha. Street Fighter 2 with each ep focusing properly on each fighter. R.I.P. Raul Julia. Sandman. The special effects budget would be massive, because it would be a frame-by-frame recreation of the original. Untitled Goose Show. Ender's Game. The movie was great, but the book had so much more potential. I would extend the story to include the politics and wonderful tactics that are throughout the series. Would love to adapt Mary Pope Osborne's Magic Tree House series, Magic School Bus style, episodic adventures with high entertainment value, focusing on important historical milestones from around the globe. Try to make an adaptation of the XCOM games. So much room for artistic liberties and cast old sci-fi actors as the cast that stays on the firebrand. I pointy David Duchovny as Bradford. Fallout, New Vegas. Expanded to the entire West Us. I'll do Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic TV show focusing Revan's story and him becoming a Sith. Since I got an unlimited budget, I'll be able to afford the best possible crew to make it a success. As long as it's a success, I'm guaranteed a career as a director with Armouse Overlord, a proper game remake, and I'll be asked to direct the Cotter movies and franchises. The Kingkiller Chronicles series by Patrick Rothfuss, staying true to the books, of course, once it's finished, so we don't have the GOT situation again. I'm Legend. I'd actually adapt the book properly, keeping the original ending. An inversion of the Golden Sun game by Nintendo, a very well written piece, but never continued. SCP Foundation. I feel that this has a lot of potential. Great series would be like the YouTuber Lord Bung's series about a guy in the Foundation. As long as it doesn't end up being mainly action, and not about the story. Harry Potter, except I want to do it in about 20 years when Stephen Fry is properly old enough to be Dumbledore. Each season will have more episodes than the last as the books get more complex and mature. There will be no fluffing out backstories, or changing casting according to Rowling's Twitter account. It'll be good like seasons 1 to 5 of GOT were good. We'll use the music from movies if possible, or hire composers to do variations on Williams themes if allowed. Like films, must be shot in England/Scotland and cast and crewed, predominantly, by people of the UK, American flavour. Skullduggery Pleasant. Along with Harry Potter, it was one of my favorite book series as a kid, so I'd love to see it turned into a TV series, but you probably would need unlimited money to make a live action series where the main character is a talking skeleton. The most important production decision, I think, would be an all-Irish cast as being set in and focused on Ireland was an important part of the series' identity. Also, it wouldn't be my number one choice for a book series to adapt to TV, but it absolutely baffles me that no one has adapted the Gone series by Michael Grant. It wouldn't even require an excessive budget, even though it's a sci-fi/fantasy, and it reads like it was written for TV. I can easily imagine it being the next Lost if someone adapted it. Malazan Book of the Fallen. It's like GOTY on speed, and also has an ending in the books, so no chance they can screw my series the way they did with GOTY. Malazan Book of the Fallen. It's like GOTY on speed, and also has an ending in the books, so no chance they can screw my series the way they did with GOTY. Word War by Harry Turtledove. Aliens invade during WW2, but they are expecting us to be only at medieval levels of technology. I'm making Dune. First thing I'm doing is investing trillions of dollars into NASA to get them working on a real Holtzman drive and other relevant technology. After that, well, I guess I'm keeping it as close to the books as I possibly can. That's about it. The Redwall series. More A to Zero from Harry Potter. We see them in school first going around causing their usual shenanigans, but as the show progresses we see how serious the war gets, and how they have to grow up suddenly, and join the order and all that jazz, and it ends when Sirius goes to jail. Divinity Second. Long and complex enough to explore without needing to adhere too much to canon. It's not a railroaded game, except in the end a bit, so I'd like to do things that perhaps weren't built in as outcomes, but stay as true to the gems of the game as possible. Maybe try and smooth some plotline arcs, and make it a bit more meaningful. The Wheel of Time series. The Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. The books are too long for movies. Each book is about the length of the LOTR trilogy. And the world is a bit too alien for TV. CGI budget would be insane, covering Spren, shard blades, high storms and even the grass behavior, not to mention chasm fiends. Also a large portion of that budget would be getting Asian actors to play the Alethi instead of whitewashing them. I would make a Dungeons and Dragons show. Not like the old cartoon, where they go into the game, but rather a show about a group of kids from different cliques, a cheerleader, a jock, a rocker, a goth, and of course a nerd, all come together to play D&D in an after-school club. Each have their own different reasons why they joined and where they learned their love for the game. The show will also be one of those shows where each episode, one or more of the characters have a problem in real life, learn a lesson from the game, and apply the lesson in real life. Another idea I could do is make scenes outside the game live action, and make the in-game scenes animated, maybe with different voice actors, since child actors aren't always the best. But what I would want the most for this show is the Dungeon Master to be a teacher that runs the club, and that teacher would be played by Matt Mercer. Half-Life TV series would be great. I'm surprised nobody said that yet. Star Wars Aftermath and Thrawn series both seem like they would adapt well into a show or even movies. Some of Charles Dickens' novels such as Great Expectations might go well for a show. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor/War would be great shows in my opinion. Worm needs to be an anime. It just does. But since nobody knows what that is, I'll go with Stormlight Archives, which definitely deserves it. Part of the unlimited money would go towards making sure that everybody in the production team can patiently wait until the last book gets written around 2040, and not pull a GOTY on us. Brentweek's Lightbringer series. It has so much potential to be ruined, and I love it too much for that to happen. Tad Williams Otherland. It would make a great TV adaptation, but would be unbelievably expensive to do faithfully due to requiring so many different sets. Oh man, so many choices. There's already been a series based on Sharp and a series based on Hornblower, but I'd love to do either of those series justice with modern technology and a unlimited budget. The Sapphirehold series also comes to mind. Lots of epic naval ship combat from various eras all in the span of a few years. I think it would make a great series. I would love to see Expeditionary Force made into a TV series. All the hijinks they get into would be hilarious. World War Z would make a fantastic series, with each story being made into its own episode. That movie was a fucking travesty. Then there's the 40k stuff like the Horus Heresy, Gaunt's Ghosts, and Cyphers Kane. Too many damn choices. I want a scene-filled horror video game. Imri doing The Expanse. They already made it awesome, but seeing as I have unlimited money I want to shoot on location. as in populate the solar system, just so I can film it. Skyrim. Austin Powers the series. The Great Book of Amber. I'm not imaginative enough to think of many production ideas. It at least would have to be a TV series. There is so much that a series of movies would never do it justice. Gosh, now I want to cast it. The never-ending story that actually never ends. The Death Gate cycle. I always thought Haplo would be a hugely popular character. So I'm going to take all of that money, I'm going to hand it to Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, and I'm going to say this is all yours if you make a Touhou Project series. How much though? It's unlimited, all of it. Halo Anthology. Each season follows a different planet's invasion, told Band of Brothers style with the aged survivors talking about battles and tactics and stuff. Thanks for watching the Chronicles of Reddit. Like and subscribe for a marvelous life of adventure.